All right, so in order to understand a pedal board, you have to understand two things. One, how the signal or the pitches that you're playing get carried from the guitar pickup to the amplifier. And two, how tone works. And so we're going to talk about both those. So the first is how the signal travels from the strings vibrating to the amp. Basically, when you plug it in and you turn the amp on, it powers the pickups. And the pickups are these magnets in there, basically. I'm simplifying a lot of things. And they create an electromagnetic field. And when the string is displaced and vibrates enough to create sound, that messes with that magnetic field. And that, in turn, the pickups are designed such that that is converted into electrical signal. Now, as the electrical signal is traveling from the pickups to the amplifier where you get sound, you basically have all these electrons lined up in the cable, and they start to shift at the frequency that you're playing at. Basically, I'm simplifying a lot of things. Think of it as like if the guitar's on this side and the amp's on this side, think of like having a slinky that you're holding between both hands, and you send a wave, and you keep sending waves at the frequency that you're at. And that also creates an electromagnetic field around the cable. And those two things, the wiring in the cable, I should say, and those two things are, so it's like the electrons in the wire and the electromagnetic field around the wire, that's all kind of contained within the cable, basically, and that's what sends the signal or the sound to the amplifier. Now, pitch is kind of an interesting thing. So we think of a specific note as the number of vibrations per second of the string or the column of air. And that's true. But tone, meaning what makes a guitar sound like a guitar and a flute sound like a flute and a trumpet sound like a trumpet, or even like hard material, like the way that my palm, like all those things that I knocked on have different sounds. What's basically happening is, and I'm simplifying things again here, but basically like every instrument that you hear, whether it's a column of air from a trumpet or a string on a guitar, is vibrating at a bunch of different pitches at once. And all those kind of get cumulative, the cumulative effect of all those pitches is what gives us tone. And the analogy I would use is it's kind of like the primary colors. Like the actual note is the primary. I think of it like this. In the same way that you mix all your primary colors to get other colors like brown and orange and purple, you mix all these different frequencies in the way that you construct the instrument to get the end resulting tone. And you can actually experience this on a guitar. If I play really close to the bridge, it's really like bright and nasally, and it darkens up and changes as I go towards the, up the neck. And so basically all that to say that what happens is that we kind of discussed how the signal is carried through to the amp from the guitar, and then what the pedal board does is manipulates that current to affect the sound, and that's what we'll talk about as I go through my pedal board.